Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. Good morning, Sarah. Thanks for joining us today on this session to learn a little bit about what Cascais has been doing as a smart city. I'll briefly introduce a few data and information on Cascais. Cascais has been redefining what it means to be truly a smart city, and we have been accompanying that journey with Deloitte, a place that places people, innovation, and transparency as its core. Through strong partnerships, Cascais is also with public entities and academia, and the spirit of experimentation as becoming a living lab. We understand that as well, where technology and collaboration drive better quality of life for all citizens. This session will explore how Cascais promotes digital inclusion while fostering transparency, data governance, and citizen participation as a pioneering territory. Having said that, I would like to start by asking you, Sarah, what was the original vision behind Cascais' smart city journey?
First of all, thank you for having me, for your invitation. Well, the original idea and vision, I think it maintains the same, is the quality of life of the people who live in Cascais. So that's the main goal, and that's the vision that we want to proceed. So I think the concept of smart city in Cascais has evolved as the concept itself. First, we used technology, a very technology-based concept to answer some challenges and to improve efficiency in essential services as mobility and waste management. But then we involved and we grow up and we learn, and now we have a more human-centric model, citizen-centered. The co-creation for us is a process and it's in our DNA. So we envision now the smart city, I think as other cities, a more human side, less than technology. Technology is a way and is a tool and not the
Good. Good question and good answer. One of the main aspects of a smart city has to do with data transparency. And that's something that each and every smart city should manage. Smart cities rely heavily on data, and Cascais also relies heavily on data. But for many citizens, I would say that this can raise some concerns. How are you managing this in Cascais?
Well, to be data-driven and to have all the decisions in data-based, and for have better decisions, we have to have a very good use of this information that we collect, and we are fortunate to have as a city. So we have to be very careful, and I think the main concept is transparency, of course, but trust. People have to trust in us, in what we do, and so we have been also involving and showing people that it's more than RGPD, or it's just this concept that it's just a tick.
But how actually can citizens be confident that their data is not being used for other means?
We have a data strategy that's now have two different sides, one internally and the other externally. And what probably the citizens see more is how we show our data. We have an open data portal. Right now, we are upgrading this portal to be more friendly, to be more useful, and to show more information and more data available. So it's a new one. And I think in the end of the year, we have a new portal. But also because it's so important for people to access this information in a useful way and in a more friendly way. So we have a portal that is Data Cascais, where people can access information that we worked. So our data scientists make a beautiful dashboards in all these different areas, and we
This is up to date, and every citizen can.
Yes, and if there's something that people want, any citizen, any student, need more information, more data that it's from our municipality, they can also ask, and we provide this information. So we are open, we are transparent, and I think in a very raw way as the open data, but also in a more worked. I think I'm missing the the word, but in a more easy way to show what we've been doing, the numbers. So transparency works both ways, and so we have to show, yeah.
One other aspect that drives smart cities forward has to do with we were showing just before the slide before, has to do with collaboration and experimentation. And we know for a fact that you've partnered with several entities, from academia to other public and private entities such as Deloitte. My question is, what role do these entities play in driving innovation in Cascais?
I think that it was showing. We as a smart city, we are all this ecosystem. The innovation happens in Cascais with all of us, and we are in the same amount of responsibility for it. So we as a city, a local government, are in the same responsible for innovation as academia, enterprises, the citizens, NGOs, and we all together work and make innovation happen in Cascais. So it's not a one person job, it's a community. And so for us have been it's very interesting. Sometimes enterprises, startups come with a solution for a challenge that we didn't know. Oh, come on, okay, let's do it, let's try. We want to be the place where startups test their solution, but also if we have a challenge that we need an answer, we need a solution, we have such a great ecosystem to go and ask for help and ask for what the answers they find.
And yeah, that's quite important. And you guys call yourselves pioneers,
Yes.
which in fact is true, at least in Portugal, in finding original solutions. Can you share with us some recent examples of projects or pilot projects that you have been developing?
Well, I could be here for quite a long time with a lot of projects that I really think they are very interesting. I think the mobility is one of the things that we are very invested. And so in Cascais, we have free transport for everyone who lives, studies, or works in Cascais. And it started with this politics of free transports, but we upgraded and try to, okay, how can we make it more economic and environmental friendly? And so we started to invest in hydrogen buses. So we started with two, then we realized that hydrogen we need to buy from Spain, because in Portugal there's no place where we could buy hydrogen. So we decided to have the first hydrogen station in our facilities in Cascais. So we are building, and pretty soon it will be open for us to have our buses and our waste management fleet also hydrogen driven. Yeah.
Good. One of the things that strikes me in this data-driven approach is obviously, and you've mentioned it before, it's the digital inclusion and citizen-centered, citizen-centric innovation. On this topic, I would like to ask you, because Cascais has consistently placed citizens at the heart of its smart city strategy, as you were just sharing with us, not just as beneficiaries, but also as active contributors. Can you share examples of how are you doing this in Cascais? How this participation has directly influenced your strategy?
Well, I will give one example. Viver Cascais, it's a card where we can access multiple services for free, like the bus. But at a time, we needed to think about it what people want, what people need, and what what people see this as a service from the municipality. So we make focus group. We ask people for their help, and it's the best way. If you have a service that you want to improve, you have to ask who's going to use it. And so we are, it's a on still on working. It's never ends because we can improve service. We can, if some service, for instance, if some service doesn't have the, people don't want it, so you don't have to have it. So we ask for people's help, people's opinion, and also people's data.
I'm sure that's quite valid from citizens as well.
Yes, because you have a service that takes your needs in consideration.
Good. Going back to digital inclusion, and digital inclusion is also a key aspect of smart city strategy. And this is a key pillar for every smart city, and Cascais is no exception. How does Cascais ensure that no one is left behind?
Being a human-centric smart city, we have technology and digital. It's for everyone, but we have to make sure that we also have solutions for people who don't want to have a smartphone or cannot have a smartphone or don't even want to handle it. And it's not just because we are elderly or very young. For instance, I have an application called Fix Cascais. You can report something wrong in the city and you just fix it, take a photo and send it. But sometimes I prefer to have someone to talk and explain what's happening. And so I do it digitally perfectly fine, but I use the phone that we have one single line that we can call for every issue. And so this is one way, make it easy. We still have local citizen shops where people can go and take care of their issues and problems and ask for help in local with high to high. And so we don't leave anyone behind, and always being careful to have a new solution, a very technology based, but make sure that someone is going to help people to get it.
Good. In terms of impact, what tangible impacts can you identify in terms of citizens' quality of life as a result of your initiatives? In terms of impact, what tangible results can you identify in day-to-day quality of life of citizens in Cascais, raising from your initiatives in terms of smart city strategy?
When we see the population growth every year, we know we are doing a good job because people want to stay. So we are attracting talent. We want to have the talent in our city, in our municipality. And so I think when you have people, asking for solutions and suggestions and the data, you make sure you are doing a good job. So the impact of making life easier for people, not for us, government, but for the people, I think that's a big impact.
Good. And now looking forward, we still have a few minutes left. I would like to ask you, what's next for Cascais?
Well,
What bold
we are
ideas
in
do you have?
Barcelona Smart City
Yeah.
Expo, and I think we all face the same challenges. I think we want to have a more, a predictable. We want to not just answer when the problem is there. We want to prevent the problem to happen. We want to be more effective, and so I think we are counting, of course, with you, in our operations center, to be more effective. And I think today, digital twins, all the use of AI, I think
That was actually a final question because building from this amazing opportunity here in Barcelona, what technologies are you excited to explore? What in terms of next steps? What have you seen around that? Cross the T's and dot the I's.
I think I'm very interested how AI are going to be helpful and useful for cities, because after the hype has have done in the past, what stays in today and what is going to really help us to manage better the city, to manage better the future. And so I think I'm looking for that. And I'm also looking for inclusive technology in the way that we don't let anyone behind. So I'm looking for those two, the very very the future, what's going to happen, and then okay, but
I'm
the
sure
very
I'm sure the
grounded.
future is bright. And really, one last question would be, how do you compare Cascais with other realities, other cities that you've been witnessing here in Barcelona? What's your standpoint in terms of smart city development when compared to similar realities? In your opinion, obviously.
Yeah, it's funny because we've been in a iCapital network, the alumni from the prize winners of the iCapital, and we
Congratulations,
exchange.
by the way.
And we exchange so many projects and information, and we get to know each other, and it's amazing how we all face same challenges. Sometimes we do it in different ways, but we share information. We share, we bench learn from each other, and I think that's. I think we are very well ahead in some things. Others, we want, of course, to make it better and be much better. But I think it's we are very very well done.
Good, and this is the place to be if you want to move forward very quickly
It
with all
is.
the partnerships that you can establish here. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Sarah,
so much.
for sharing with us Cascais experience, and thank you very much, guys, for attending.